Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Founders Table. And I have a question for you today. What if I told you that you could take an extended period of time off of your business and still either sustain or grow your revenue? More than grow your revenue, though, actually grow the profitability of your business. If you're like, there's no way, that's not possible, I want you to listen, because today I'm going to tell you a story all about my client who has had her best year in business ever while also taking 2 months off for maternity leave. So that means not only did she take 2 months off, but she also became a first-time mom, which for all of my moms out there, you know the serious work that goes into being a mother and what that requires from you. So to be able to continue expanding her business and to have the results that she has had, including just wrapping up a $95,000 month, is absolutely incredible. And beyond the $95,000 month, when she told me about this, I said, how much were you actually working during this? I'm going to get into everything that we've done in her business because this has been a longtime client of mine and she's absolutely incredible. But she answered me and she said somewhere between 20 and 25 hours a week, because that's the way that we've set up her schedule. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about, how does this actually happen? What did we do? What have we done? And how did this result actually come about? So first and foremost, this client of mine is in a highly niche field. She is a physical therapist specializing in the area of multiple sclerosis. And she created this revolutionary program called the Missing Link. And it's MSING link. So if you, or if someone you know has multiple sclerosis, please send them this amazing program because it's truly life-changing. She has built this membership platform that now houses hundreds of members, and she is incredible at what she does. And she provides so many resources and support and knowledge, and it is just a great, great space. So if there's anything that her story and working with her has taught me, it is really that as a mom of 3 myself, and her coming to me before she was a mom and then becoming a mom, it really shows how having dedicated, intentional support, and not only having that support, but being willing to implement and listen and take action even when it's uncomfortable. And so let's talk about kind of like where she was when we started. When she came to me, her biggest goal was to have some sort of work-life balance. She knew that she was working way too much. She was probably working around 40 to 60 hours a week. She was really struggling even turning off from work when she wasn't working, because especially as an entrepreneur, she was in, I think when she came to me, she was like 2-3 years into business. So she wasn't brand new, and she had built this platform and it was succeeding. It had grown really quickly, and she was just struggling with how to manage it all. And she had one team member in place. Her revenue was growing, but it just didn't feel good, right? She was really drained. She was struggling with being able to connect. She wasn't really taking any time for herself. And so in that, she knew that it wasn't sustainable. She knew that the way that she was running the business was working for the business, but it really wasn't working for her. She was really torn between like wanting to continue growing the business and really like that not being an option. And I think for most entrepreneurs like us, it's not. Like, growth is inevitable and we are willing to do pretty much whatever it takes to make that happen. And a lot of times that comes at the expense of ourselves. And so she was very burnout. She was very overwhelmed. She was very tired, right? And she knew that she had to keep going. She built something great. She wanted to make it greater, but she could not see how she could keep going the way that she was. She was so successful on paper, but it just wasn't sustainable. And even what she had achieved, she didn't even celebrate because she was so entangled in getting to the next thing, achieving the next goal, and truly just getting through her days. So that's where she was when she came to me. And we have done so much work together. She has been with me since October of 2022. And that in itself is something that I am so grateful for. I have quite a few clients who are in their second, going into their third years with me, and many clients that are past their first year with me. And to me, I would always rather work on my customer service, my knowledge base, and continuing to help these people, because when you have a relationship that is long-term with somebody, I know my clients' partners' names, I know their kids' names, I know their quirks, I know their habits, I know everything about them personally and professionally, and it makes the relationship and the growth feel a little bit easier even when it's challenging. And so in October 2022, she came to me. That's how she was feeling. And so we dug in. And so here are some of the things that we have done. So first and foremost, we addressed everything that she was doing, right? Because when you are working that many hours, we need to really look at how you're spending your time and what you're spending your time on and how your time is organized. And so we did a full audit of her schedule, and really alongside that, addressed a lot of emotions around delegation, how she was delegating, which naturally connected with systems and processes that she had in place. And so she was doing a lot of doing. She was delegating, but still holding on to a lot. She was having a hard time leading her team and communicating as a leader, because that's a shift that not a lot of people talk about, is that you start as a solopreneur, you build something and you bring somebody on, and now you're like, oh man, I'm somebody's boss. How do I interact here? How do I communicate? How do I cultivate that respect? How do I get them to love my business as much as I love it? Right? So we looked at how she was spending her time. We looked at her current team and how things were set up and being delegated and communicated to the team. We identified gaps that she had within that process, within that team member, based upon strengths and weaknesses. And so we brought on more team members. And at this point, she has a team of, between employees and contractors, I believe her team is up to about 5 or 6 people now. So I prefer to still keep teams as lean as possible, and especially that differentiation between employee and contractor. And a lot of people hire employees that could be contractors, but that's a story for a different day. So at this point, she has built out a bigger team. She has brought on hundreds of new members into the program, and she has built solid systems and processes. We integrated a communications platform via Slack so that everything was not being done through text message and email. We implemented a project management system through Asana, and she started using that to be able to communicate clear deadlines and be able to give clarity on the description of tasks. And so just setting up all of these back-end things gave her a lot of relief, right? So she started delegating more efficiently. She started communicating and learning how to communicate better so that she could not feel so guilty about delegation. She built in new systems and new processes that would allow her to achieve the same results in her business, but not do it all herself, we started using the automations. And then we started really optimizing things. So we started looking at things that were kind of low-hanging fruit that were being done that could be done better. For instance, she has a webinar that she was running ads to, and it was bringing in a lot of leads, but the email sequence wasn't really working for her. And so looking at the funnels and the things that she did have set up and actually taking a deeper dive into, does this messaging work for the sales strategy? Where are we driving people? And how are we getting them there? And what's the higher goal? And are we being clear about that in our communications? And so it's really been a continued effort in peeking into the corners and the cracks and identifying those gaps and then filling them. And so we filled the gap of team. We filled the gap of inefficiencies through not having systems and processes in place. We filled the gap of the struggle for time and work-life balance by looking at how she was spending her time, delegating things out to new team members, redoing her schedule so it was run more efficiently, taking calls off her calendar that didn't need to be there. And so now she's able to not do everything herself and not have to feel like she's micromanaging all the time. She was able to take 2 months off for her maternity leave just by batching things ahead of time because she knew she wanted to take that time off, and by delegating to her team, which she trusted. And at this point, now she is spending her mornings with her daughter. She works about 20 hours a week. And when she's working, she's focused and she's present. And when she's with her daughter, she's focused and she's present. And so it's one thing to increase revenue. It's another thing to increase profit. And beyond that, it's another thing to make money, but make money in a way that feels good and allows for you to live a life that feels good. So intertwined into all of these conversations and coaching calls and between call communications, we address so much about her mindset and the fears that she had and anything and everything that came up when she was trying to get to this ultimate goal of having work-life balance. When you run a business, I often compare it to the gears turning inside like a Swiss watch, or if you're a mom, your kids probably have little magnetic gears that go on the fridge that turn, and they have to be able to plug in, the spokes have to be able to plug into each other. And so with her calendar being full, she wasn't able to see how there was no actual systems and processes, and that was creating a lot of inefficiencies, which then was putting more time on her calendar. And because there was no systems and processes in place, she was unable to see the gaps in team that she had, which was creating overwhelm for her, putting things back on her plate, micromanaging, and then also overwhelming her team member. And so if we don't address the different areas and how they interact with each other, we can't achieve the goal. And so the monetary goals come when we address all the gears. And this is why I've always worked from a holistic place. This is why when you tell me you're overwhelmed from your business, I'm going to ask you, outside of your business, how are you taking care of yourself and filling your cup? Because a lot of times the result that we feel isn't the result of one singular thing. It's the result of a lot of things. And so having a $95,000 month, her having her best year ever, her taking 2 months off was a result of many different actions and intentions that were set weeks and months prior. But in order to achieve these kinds of results, we have to have the right people in place. We have to be able to address how we are being the problem. And we have to be able to look inside areas that we may not think are connected. So now she's no longer tied to her desk all day. She's no longer feeling guilty about when her workday is over. She's no longer having conversations in her head about just another 30 minutes or just another hour. She steps away. She knows that things will be okay. And that emotional peace, that peace of mind around your business is probably the greatest gift. One of the more emotional moments I've had in my business is when she sent me this video testimonial talking about how she had the most peaceful maternity leave. And to me, when we really step back up and out of business and we think about what matters, it's that we get one life. And in this one life, we're choosing to be entrepreneurs and we're choosing to make an impact. And that is incredible. And we're also choosing to be mothers and we're choosing to lead by example inside and outside our homes. And we have to remember that in this one life, we are the creators of it. And if we only get one life and we're making these choices to help and impact other people, we also have to remember that this is our life too. And so we can get phenomenal results and build real wealth and run profitable businesses, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of us. You don't have to work 60 hours a week to succeed. You don't have to view success through the same lens of what people have said or done before you. The important thing is you align your actions with goals that are set based upon attention, intention, and having the right support. You need systems inside your home, inside your business, and inside your head that can actually create the space for you to enjoy your life. If you have ever felt like success means sacrificing more of yourself, more of your time, that you just can't pull away, you can't take your foot off the gas, this story proves that it doesn't have to be that way. It will require some change that may be uncomfortable. But if you're anything like this phenomenal client of mine, when you do it, it works. What would it look like for you to think about this next year of growth, feeling and looking different? If you want to talk about me partnering with you to help you get there, to help you make the change that you need within yourself and within your business so that you can have results like this, you are welcome to get on my wait list and we can talk about working together in 2025. That is going to be the best next step for you in this moment. I'm so excited about these client case study series. My hope is to continue to share these stories so that you can see yourself inside these women that I am working with, and so that you can be reassured that on the other side of change is phenomenal growth, phenomenal potential, and a life that feels truly fulfilling. I'm so grateful to this client to see her shining, to see her so excited about the possibility and the potential of her business, and to no longer feel like it's taking over her life. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening, and we will talk next week.